As the world has been poised to see these files, no doubt the royal family has been anxiously waiting to.
Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and Fergie allegedly planned one last hurrah at Royal Lodge over Christmas. It was a final farewell party, one last Christmas inside Royal Lodge, one last attempt to play host, and one last chance to gather whoever is still willing to walk through those doors. According to reports, Andrew and Sarah Ferguson had been planning what sources called a private festive gathering at Royal Lodge. Not a public event, not a grand announcement, but a discreet Christmas get-together for what remains of their social circle. A final December in the house before they are expected to vacate it in the new year. And yet, the timing could hardly be worse. While King Charles and the senior royals gathered at Sandringham for the traditional Christmas celebrations, Andrew and Fergie were, of course, nowhere to be seen. This year, they were not just absent, they were fully cast out.
In April that year, they then requested mutual legal assistance, asking to meet in relation to his associations with the Canadian millionaire and convicted sex offender Peter Nygaard. To date, Andrew hasn't spoken to any law enforcement agency to tell them what he knows or saw during his time with Epstein.
One royal expert put it bluntly, saying, "Andrew's goose is finally cooked," and not in the festive sense. The former Duke and his ex-wife faced a Christmas overshadowed by scandal, scrutiny, and the release of the first tranche of Epstein-related documents by the US Justice Department. Both Andrew and Fergie were pictured in the newly released material. Of course, I need to say this as a disclaimer of sorts. Being named or appearing in photographs does not indicate wrongdoing in itself. But most of us can agree it doesn't help his case. US officials have stressed the documents were heavily redacted to protect victims who are entitled to anonymity. The optics are deeply uncomfortable and quite disturbing. One image shows Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell in the countryside near Balmoral, a location long associated with royal privacy. Another image shows Andrew lying across the laps of several women, their identities redacted, with Maxwell standing behind them smiling. That photograph appears to have been taken inside the saloon at Sandringham, a stark reminder of how close Andrew once was to the heart of royal life. Then there are the emails from the, quote, invisible man, asking Ghislaine Maxwell for new, inappropriate friends.
And then there are the emails from the invisible man. In one from August 2001, sent to Ghislaine Maxwell, they write from Balmoral asking, "Have you found me some new inappropriate friends?"
Against that backdrop, the idea of a Christmas party at Royal Lodge feels almost surreal. Royal biographer Andrew Lowney, who wrote entitled The Rise and Fall of the House of York, has suggested that if a gathering did take place, it would be made up of friends who go back a long way and who have stuck with the couple. In other words, this would not be about celebrity or society. It would be about loyalty and perhaps defiance. A source told the Daily Mail that there was some sort of party for their remaining friends over Christmas. It may not have been officially labelled a farewell, but it certainly looked like a last hurrah. If you're like me, you might be asking, who would continue to associate with these two and be there for Christmas? Their own daughters weren't, after all. Let's take a closer look at their inner circle. It's not clearly established who attended this alleged party, but if there are any guesses, it would be strictly inner circle. Let's start with one of Andrew's most outspoken defenders, Lady Victoria Hervey. She is a long-time friend of Andrew's and briefly dated him following his divorce from Fergie in the mid-1990s. Over the years, she has repeatedly spoken up for him, even as public criticism intensified around his association with Jeffrey Epstein. Lady Victoria has not shied away from controversy.
Poor Queen Elizabeth is rolling over in her grave at the absolute shame that has been brought to her most important residence. Even here in the United States, we understand the importance of the Christmas tradition and holidays in the United Kingdom and how that held such a special place.
At various points, she publicly questioned the credibility of Virginia Giuffre, the woman who accused Andrew of sexual assault in a civil case filed in 2021. Andrew denied the allegations and later settled the case without admitting liability. Lady Victoria's comments sparked widespread backlash, particularly when she reposted a photo of Giuffre taken from a hospital bed and added the word karma over it. The post was later removed, but the reaction was swift and severe. It underscored just how isolated Andrew's remaining supporters had become. Whether Lady Victoria would be welcome at a quiet Christmas gathering at Royal Lodge is almost beside the point. She represents the kind of friend Andrew still has. People who have known him for decades and who remain publicly loyal, regardless of the consequences. Fergie's friendships, on the other hand, have always leaned more celebrity than aristocracy. One of the most famous names linked to her over the years is Kate Moss. The two are believed to have been introduced through Naomi Campbell and were photographed holidaying together in Venice in 2013 and Greece in 2016. They were also seen together on nights out in London, including Kate's birthday celebration at the Chinatown restaurant in Mayfair in 2017. Kate attended Princess Eugenie's wedding in 2018 and spoke warmly about the occasion at the time. Over the years, she and Fergie appeared side by side at several charity events, including a Marie Curie cancer care fundraiser. That said, it is unclear whether the friendship has endured. In the current climate, association with the former Duchess comes with reputational risk, and Kate Moss is said to be famously careful about the company she keeps publicly. Another long-standing figure in Andrew's life is Charlie Butter. Their friendship goes back to childhood, having met at prep school. Butter is also one of the late Queen's godsons, which places him firmly within that old inner royal world. He was known to move in elite circles and was seen attending society events alongside Ghislaine Maxwell in the past. There is little information on how close Butter and Andrew remain today, but historically he is one of Andrew's oldest connections. If anyone fits the description of a friend who goes a long way back, it's him. So when we try to examine their social circle, it becomes obvious. If a Christmas gathering at Royal Lodge did take place, it would not have looked anything like the parties of the past. They have very few friends left. No packed rooms, no glamorous guest lists, no sense of excitement buzzing around the house. Instead, it would likely have been small, cautious, and made up of people who either have known Andrew and Fergie for decades or who have little to lose by being associated with them.
To see Sandringham disgraced with these photos, it's very disappointing here on this side of the ocean, but I'm certain over in the UK, people are absolutely crushed.
It has been a scandal that the royal family have this year taken their own action to try to shut down.
A last Christmas in a house that once symbolised status and access, now marked by quiet goodbyes and a shrinking circle. Though they may be holding one last gathering, this Christmas is very different. According to Lowney, the tone is much more serious. He has said that the volume of material now in the public domain, from court documents to books and political scrutiny linked to Epstein, has finally closed the door. Andrew has lost his titles. He is expected to leave Royal Lodge. And in Lowney's view, this reckoning should have happened years ago. And yet, still, very little has changed. One source claimed that staff still address Andrew as Your Royal Highness. The butler still bows. Andrew, according to the same source, insists that palace rules do not apply inside his walls. He sees the house, and his status within it, as a birthright, not something the king can simply erase. That tension makes the idea of a Christmas party there all the more telling. In Lowney's book, a former staff member is quoted as saying that Andrew is pretending everything is fine, while subconsciously knowing things are very bad. The source also claimed that the greatest blow for Andrew was not the allegations he denies, but the stripping of his royal titles. Losing that identity, they said, cut deeper than anything else. So here's the question I will leave you with. If there really was one last Christmas bash behind those gates, who do you think actually showed up? Or do you think this final farewell was defined by absence rather than company? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to stay up to date with the latest royal developments, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.